It's where they all live. Illegal immigrants are amazing people, they say, far better than you are, Mr. Entitled American. Last week we had a conversation with Enrique Acevedo of Univision, and he made that point. If you're right up against a country that's totally out of control, as people are shooting each other in the numbers you just described, why wouldn't you be terrified to let them in?
Well, I think you're not getting the criminals. You're getting the best of Mexico, the people who are willing to work 2-3 shifts a day, the people who are law-abiding citizens and are proactive enough to try to provide a better future for their family, the people who are fleeing that violence. That's what you're getting, not rapists and criminals.
But we don't know that, of course, because we have more than 10... No, actually we don't. Jorge Ramos also works as an anchor at Univision, which, unlike RT, has not been forced to register as a foreign agent. He also wrote the book Stranger, The Challenge of a Latino Immigrant in the Trump Era. We spoke with him just a minute ago. Jorge, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So the first and maybe most important question is, why should we let these asylum seekers, these migrants, into our country?
I think the United States is becoming a hostile, even dangerous country for refugees and for immigrants. And I think we have a long tradition of being generous, of accepting other immigrants from countries where they're fleeing violence and poverty and lack of democracy. I think that's precisely what the United States is. And at the end, Tucker, I think it's simply a matter of deciding what kind of country do we want to be. And it seems at this point that we're not talking about only a few hundred refugees, and putting it in context, from the 65 million refugees that there are in the world, the United States accepted only 84,000 in 2016, and with President Trump it's going to be even less. So it's simply a matter of deciding what kind of country do we want to be.
Well, we've accepted about 13 million refugees, economic refugees, who are in our country now illegally. But back up for 1 second. You said that this is a hostile, dangerous place for refugees. Then why would you want them to come here if the United States is so dangerous?
Well, I mean, that's much, much better than you're a father in Tegucigalpa or San Pedro Sula, and you have a son, and that son wants to be recruited by the gangs, or if they threaten your only daughter, they want to rape her, what would you do? I mean, maybe the only option for them is to come to the United States.
Oh, but it's not the only option. I mean, look, I understand. Look, I love this country. I was born here. I'm not a citizen of any other country. Obviously, I'm for America, and I plan to stay. So you don't need to convince me why people would want to come. I understand why they would. But in order to get here, they pass through Mexico, which is, by many measures, a rich country. It's got the 15th largest economy in the world. There are 30 Mexican billionaires. Got a bigger economy than Saudi Arabia. They're sleeping on the street in Tijuana. Why doesn't the Mexican government help them?
Well, it's, first of all, they don't want to stay in Mexico. They want to come to the United States. And second of all, if you're fleeing violence, if you're fleeing gangs in Honduras or El Salvador or Guatemala, why would you want to go to Mexico when in the last 5 years more than 100,000 people were killed by drug violence? Would you stay in Mexico? Of course not. It doesn't make absolutely.
No, I mean, I
so they want to come to the
probably want to fly business class to Zurich and move to the Alps, but I don't get to because it's not my country. So
you want to close the United States? That's what you want to do. You want to close the United States? I mean,
yes, I want to close. I want to revert to what we were, which is a country of laws, where people can come here, but they do so legally. We have over 1 million people come here every year legally. They fill out the paperwork, they get in line from around the world, and I don't know why that system doesn't work. 1 million people a year is a lot.
They want to come here legally. They want to come here legally. The way you want, it's just that for today they haven't been allowed even to talk to an agent.
They're not trying to get here legally. No, that's not true. They're trying to come here and claim asylum, which in effect means a court date will be set, and the overwhelming majority will not show up for court, and they will blend in with the other 13 million illegals already here.
I mean, they're fleeing violence, they're fleeing gangs.
How do you know that? Hold on. You keep making these statements. What do you know about that?
To them because we have reporters talking to them, because we know who they are. We're talking to them every single day with them. We've been following them for 25 days. That's why we know who they are. That's why we know that they're not
MS-13, who was caught last week, who admitted he was a member of MS-13? What did he say when you talked to him?
Well, I haven't talked to him, and again,
you didn't
want to
talk to him.
criminalize the whole group simply
I don't want to criminalize him. He said he was a member. Hold on, stop the word tsunami for 2 seconds. All right, yeah, kind of got it right. It's the Mexican citizen lecturing me about what kind of country America is. I love that. But let me ask you this. One of them said he was from MS-13. That was his description of his own affiliation. You're saying I'm criminalizing him by repeating what he said about himself. So maybe what you're really engaging in is propaganda, not fact-finding.
No. What I'm saying is that if you want to criminalize the whole caravan, which is not composed by bad hombres, as you know, there's no invasion. If you want to criminalize the hundreds of them.
Well, there's an invasion. 13 million people here illegally? I think that's an invasion. Look, if 13 million illegals showed up in Mexico tomorrow and wouldn't leave, and if people from other countries like you called anyone who wanted to make them leave a racist, I think you would call it what it is, which is an invasion. That's what this is.
What I'm saying is that if they're fleeing, if they're asking for political asylum, we have to listen to them. And on the other hand,
why do we have to listen to them?
Well, because that's the long tradition that we have. Just to accept and protect those who are vulnerable, those who are being persecuted.
Why doesn't Mexico? Why doesn't Mexico, with an economy larger than Saudi Arabia's, protect them? Okay, but hold on. Why is it America's unique obligation to take in? I mean, there are 1.2 billion people in Africa. All of them have lower standards of living than Americans. Many of them are living in violent places. Do they all have a right to come here? It's a real question. Do they?
Could it be because we are the most powerful and the richest country in the world?
We're not the richest, we're the most powerful. Actually, first of all, circa 1955, that would be China, which doesn't believe in diversity or immigration, just so you know. Do they have any obligation?
Because they are in our hemisphere, and we're also responsible for that. I mean, they're fleeing violence, right? So why do you think they're fleeing? These drug wars in Central America and Mexico are not happening just because it's a TV project. No, it's happening simply because there are more than 25 million Americans who use illegal drugs, and we're also responsible for
we're going to blame the junkies. So Mexico sends in fentanyl, heroin. Yes, it does. Mexico is now the largest manufacturer of crystal meth. We used to make it ourselves. Now they make it. They kill tens of thousands of Americans every year, and those families are the ones responsible. So someone who's
for that violence.
We're responsible for heroin addiction. So someone who's taking heroin, he's responsible. The junkie living on the street is responsible for these people being here. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that when we have about 25 million U.S. citizens who use illegal drugs, it has consequences in the whole hemisphere. Drugs are coming from Colombia, crossing Central America and Mexico, and the violence that's happening in those places is also partly responsible for the consumers in this country.
Oh, I understand. So 60,000 people died of drug ODs last year. Most of those drugs came from Mexico, but it's our fault. So not only do we have to drop our borders, ignore our own laws, take any poor person around the world who wants to come here, but we have to because we're immoral, because we're dying of drug ODs? That seems really good.
So you think that the U.S. and the U.S. consumers have absolutely no responsibility for the drug wars in Mexico, in Colombia, in Peru, and in Central America? They're completely linked. Absolutely, they're completely linked. And guess what? Not only that, how about the guns and the rifles being used by drug traffickers?
It's funny. Typically, when you're trying to get someone to do something nice for you, like taking all your poor people,
you have responsibility, and we in the United States, we have responsibility for the things that are happening.
You're a Mexican citizen. You voted the Mexican presidential election. I just find it amazing that you can demand compassion from Americans.
I'm also a U.S. citizen.
I guess, but you voted in the Mexican election, so I mean, it's not.
I voted in the Mexican election, and I voted in the U.S. election. I know it's confusing for you, but that's what happens. And there are millions of people around the world with dual citizenship. I'm just one of them.
Yeah, well, I'm opposed to it, if I can say that for obvious reasons. But it's just funny how we have a moral obligation because we're bad people to subsidize the rest of the world.
We're the richest and the most powerful country in the world, and many people want to come here, and we're an example of democracy and generosity. I think that's the right idea.
Talk about blaming the victim. Jorge, it was great to see you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, baby. Goodbye. Yeah.
Iran Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
Goodbye.
threat that the Islamic Republic has never been after nuclear weapons.
You can listen to Iran's president, Hassan Rouhani.
Nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction have no place in Iran's security and defense doctrine and contradict our fundamental religious and ethical convictions.
This is repeated by Iran's foreign minister, Javad Zarif.
We didn't have any program to develop nuclear weapons anyway. We consider nuclear weapons both irrational as well as immoral.
Well, tonight I'm here to tell you one thing. Iran lied. Big time. After signing the nuclear deal in 2015, Iran intensified its efforts to hide its secret nuclear files. In 2017, Iran moved its nuclear weapons files to a highly secret location in Tehran. This is the Shorabad district in southern Tehran. This is where they kept the atomic archive, right here. Few Iranians knew where it was, very few, and also a few Israelis. Now, from the outside, this was an innocent-looking compound. It looks like a dilapidated warehouse. But from the inside, it contained Iran's secret atomic archives locked in massive files. Actually, they're a little bigger than this, okay? A few weeks ago, in a great intelligence achievement, Israel obtained half a ton of the material inside these vaults. And here's what we got. 55,000 pages. Another 55,000 files on 183 CDs. Everything you're about to see is an exact copy of the original Iranian material. You may want to know where are the originals? Well, I can say they're now in a very safe place. Here's what the files included. Incriminating documents, incriminating charts, incriminating presentations, incriminating blueprints, incriminating photos, incriminating videos, and more. We've shared this material with the United States, and the United States can vouch for its authenticity. We will also share it with other countries, and we'll share it with the International Atomic Energy Agency. So let me tell you the history of this material. We've known for years that Iran had a secret nuclear weapons program called Project Ahmad. We can now prove that Project Ahmad was a comprehensive program to design, build, and test nuclear weapons. We can also prove that Iran is secretly storing Project Ahmad material to use at a time of its choice to develop nuclear weapons. Here's what Project Ahmad's explicit goal was: creating nuclear weapons. This is an original Iranian presentation from these files. And here's the mission statement: design, produce, and test 5 warheads, each with 10 kiloton TNT yield, for integration on a missile. You don't have to read Farsi to see 10 kilotons here, TNT. This is the specific goal of Project Ahmad. That's like 5 Hiroshima bombs to be put on ballistic missiles. This is an original Iranian spreadsheet from the archives of Project Ahmad. Look at what it has here. Yellow cake production, centrifuge enrichment process, warhead project, simulation project, and test. And indeed, when we analyzed what's in these archives, we found that Project Ahmad had all the 5 elements, the 5 key elements of a nuclear weapons program. I want to take them one by one. First element is designing nuclear weapons. This is an original Iranian illustration of a weapon. Again, you don't have to read Farsi to understand this. This is U-235, that's enriched uranium, right here at the core. That's the only place where you find in the core enriched uranium. And here's an Iranian simulation, original Iranian simulation, putting all these components together. That's the first component. Second component, developing nuclear cores. Here's a photo showing the casting process and a cast metal core from the archives. And here's a secret underground facility the Iranians were building to produce nuclear cores. We have
Hi Denise. Hi Marie. And we're just heading over from Dover to Calais with our outreach club. This time we brought a second batch of blankets and loads of vegetables from our garden. After a speedy trip across the channel and a short drive in France, we unloaded our van. We were given a tour of the kitchen where 2 meals a day are cooked for 800 refugees in the area. The police confiscate tents, sleeping bags and clothing on a weekly basis, so huge amounts of supplies need to be kept on hand for distribution.
At the Catholic Worker House, Brother Johannes helped us understand the situation better. Art can help refugees cope with their experiences.
The possibility to tell something but not with words, so you're not telling the story, you're doing it with your hands. And a mother with a baby, there's somewhere a mother and a baby in there, there's somewhere... Is that the mother and the baby? No, well, you're fast. If you come from Eritrea, you come from Ethiopia, you have to go to the Sudanese and the Libyan desert. And so often your family would pay a smuggler to take you in these trucks.
It was a hot day, and we were invited to help with the water distribution. After filling up some bottles, we went to a site nicknamed the Green Hotel. Here we can meet refugees face to face, and the water bottles were gone in no time.
I never would have dreamt that something as simple as water would be so appreciated.
Many at this site are Christians, and one of them showed us their simple church. 80 refugees meet here every Sunday, rain or shine.
Wow.
Refugees are encouraged to draw the route they took to get here on this huge map.
Just looking at the map, it was quite shocking to see all the places that these refugees went through and all the hardships they had to encounter. And that gave me a lot more compassion for their situation.
Meeting people who have absolutely nothing has made me a lot more thankful for everything that I do have.
This was an experience that changed us all, and we will definitely never forget it.
Jorge Ramos also works as an anchor at Univision, which, unlike RT, has not been forced to register as a foreign agent. He also wrote the book Stranger, The Challenge of a Latino Immigrant in the Trump Era. We spoke with him just a minute ago. Jorge, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So the first and maybe most important question is, why should we let these asylum seekers, these migrants, into our country?
Here with me to discuss all these significant developments, former Bernie Sanders National Staff Attendant Figaro and Washington Times opinion editor and Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt, who did us the great honor of deciding to join us here instead of being with the elite there in the correspondence dinner in Washington.
I've never had a better excuse to skip the correspondence dinner. It's just such a, and I can't think of by reading the reports of it, I can't think of a better one to have skipped.
I know, well, we'll get to that, I think, but let's just start with, I mean, there's a lot happened this week with the president and so on. Let's start with the really important and serious stuff, the foreign policy aspects. I mean, the things that we saw this week, not just Korea, which has been widely commented on for obvious reasons, but also I thought it was significant the way that he really made progress on the Iran issue with President Macron and with Angela Merkel, where, you know, just a few weeks ago, you had all the kind of foreign policy elites saying, hang on a second, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about, ripping up the Iran deal, he's not going to get anywhere with that. They're coming around to his position, but they just can't give him any credit, can they? No, and I don't think they ever will give him credit. One of the reasons I think it would be so delightful if he did bring peace to the Korean Peninsula is not that it would just save tens of millions of fellow humans, but then the Nobel Prize Committee would be forced to give him a Nobel Prize. But even they probably wouldn't do it. They'd wind up giving it to Kim Jong-un. But it really is amazing, and it's a reminder of not, we talk so much about domestically about what Donald Trump has meant in terms of sort of doing some things differently. But my gosh, around the world, doing things, just doing things differently. Maybe in some cases doing things worse than the way the establishment was doing, but just doing things differently. It's a breath of fresh air, and where we have been having failure after failure, decades of failure. Well, doing something different is the first step towards maybe finding the right solution.
Well, Tenzin, honestly, that's one of the main sort of things that he said was like, I'm just not, and that's what people saw. He's not going to be the usual kind of thing that people got used to. He's going to shake things up, do it his way. All the experts said, particularly on foreign policy, it's going to be wreck the world. It's going to be dangerous to the world. It's not really turning out like that, is it?
Well, I guess it's perception is reality in PR. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But what I would say is President Trump has been consistent on who Trump is. From the moment that he started running for office, nothing has really changed. I think what the bigger thing is that people really don't expect you to say you're going to be the same person and actually do it. Before he was elected, everyone said, oh, when he changes, when he gets in, he's going to be so presidential, he's going to be this, one, that. And I always tell people when you get married, it's not about, once we get married, maybe it's going to be different. It is who it is. He is who he is. And so people don't like it. Like even they talked about in the White House correspondent dinner, they brought in an interesting point. This is the monster that you got created. Yes. This is who you wanted. This is who you put in office. So I think he's just been consistent with that. I also would say, I'm sure, he's listened to some counsel, around him. Him not doing foreign policy before, outside of business. We can't assume that he hasn't, tapped into his resources. We really don't know. But I think it's back to just what you said, whether it's good or bad or, whatever it is, people are going to remain critical because he continues to go outside of the box and not doing what we are used to seeing a president do.
Nice. And what do you make of the Kanye West thing? I mean, again, widely discussed this week. What was interesting to me was when you saw the backlash from the left against Kanye. Suddenly, he wasn't really black anymore. He was rich. And so it's okay, we can hate him because he's rich, and that's why he's with Trump. It's really interesting to me the way the response from the left came into that kind of.
Well, there's two perspectives. One, I'm a poet and I'm a hip hop head. So when I speak, I'm certainly not speaking for all poets, all hip hop, and all African Americans. But I thought you raised an interesting point about being rich. But let me break down to you what hip hop's problem was. First, hip hop has a problem. It has a problem with anybody being rich. In fact, I tell rappers all the time, most of you are more Republican than you think. You either are talking about getting rich or you're already rich. So hip-hop has no problem, with being rich. What Kanye did was him coming, especially from the conscious poet game, him being a conscious poet and turning into a rapper and speaking about consciousness. Once you've been deemed as bad for the African-American community, it is always going to be, I get criticized for coming on Fox. No matter, even if I'm saying things that people believe, even if they say right on, you're right on point, it doesn't matter because Fox has been deemed already everything against what's helpful for me and my people, just being very honest. Yeah. So by Kanye stepping outside of that and saying, listen, I want to be a free thinker, I want to have more dialogue, across the table to have this conversation. I tell people all the time, somebody got to go to Fox. Somebody has to have the conversation.
Well, I'm glad it's you.
Yeah, and so because of that, because he came out and did something different and said, let's have this conversation, it's particularly with hip-hop and with African Americans, he's being criticized because he's supposed to be the epitome of consciousness. Hip-hop started with talking about the struggle, talking about it's like a jungle sometimes, made me wonder how keep from going under. So for him to come and actually talk about capitalism, talking about free capital, talking about Second Amendment, all the things that hip-hop preaches on a daily basis, see, my issue with Kanye is how he really rolled it out. If he wants to support Trump or support Trump administration policies that do work, which is business owners, like I'm one, which is free capital, which is free trade, all of those things, rolling it out that way opposed to I'm just wearing a hat and I'm trying to really make it more of a gimmick is the problem, which is why it won't be received because he's not focusing on issue, he's talking about emotion.
That's such a great point, and I always think that's right. We've got to come back to the agenda that he ran on and whether or not he's doing it. But Charlie, I thought it was really interesting what Tenzin was saying there is about actually picks up on what Kasich was saying, of all people, which is this, this incredible polarization and division and anger and hate. And he's reaching out at that. He's trying to get out of the boxes and actually have a conversation.
Well, that was the funny thing about the campaign. If you read the media, you think that it was the most polarizing campaign and all this kind of stuff. The truth is, there was a lot of polarization going on. But two things. Donald Trump's campaign was the most issue-oriented presidential campaign I've ever covered. And that goes back a few years. The second thing is that those issues, as you pointed out, were very unifying issues. They were talking about things like freedom, breaking down, the bureaucratic barriers and things like that. And all of that, it doesn't matter what color you are, these are all very popular messages. And then, of course, the final message, all the government, has not been good to all the communities it claims to be good to. And that was why I think that message that he delivered to African Americans, that look, what have you got to lose, was such a profound message.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could sort of debate all that for a long time, but I just think that I know that there's a risk that you don't bring too much of one another. There is something interesting happening here, I think, with this, with the way that the Kanye West intervention, as it were, has kind of sparked this debate. I think it's really interesting. Anyway, thank you both.
Get down. What the hell?
No appointment tire service. So we're ready when you are.
We begin with President Trump on the verge of a truly historic diplomatic triumph as his tough talk appears to be paying off. The leaders of North and South Korea, this was wild, agreed in principle today to remove all nuclear weapons from their countries and to work toward formally ending the state of war that has existed since the 1953 truce. Trump was ecstatic over the news, tweeting early in the day, "Korean War to end." The president later acknowledged there was much work to be done, but he sure sounded optimistic.
A lot of good things are happening with respect to North Korea. President Obama told me when I had one meeting with him, he said, that's your biggest problem. That's going to be the most difficult thing you have. And honestly, I wish it was handled earlier. I wish it were handled by another administration years ago. I'm not just talking about President Obama. I go back to any administration you want. But over the last 25 years, this should have been handled a long time ago, not now. This should not have been left for me to handle. But we will handle it. We're handling it well.
So is it time for Trump's critics to concede that his tough rocket man talk on the sanctions, North Korea, actually made a difference here? Republican Congressman Luke Messer has been urging colleagues to support, wait for it, a Nobel Peace Prize for the president. He joins us now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and former Trump campaign advisor and China policy expert Mike Pillsbury is going to be with us, as is Asia policy expert Riley Walters of the Heritage Foundation. Great panel. I never thought I would see this in my lifetime, I have to say, guys. The idea of the North Korean dictator crossing the DMZ to meet the South Korean leader, obviously speaking the same language, meeting together, embracing at one point after the handshake, after they had their meeting. Again, this is initial still, in its initial phases, but Congressman, I have to say, I think the only person who could have gotten us to this place, again, we'll see where it goes, but it's Donald Trump, because of his unconventional approach to negotiations and, frankly, his tough talk. You didn't know if people were going to say, you're going to launch a nuclear war, unilateral first strike, Mr. President? He's like, no, but we're going to solve this. Congressman, how did Donald Trump manage to get us this far?
Well, it is extraordinary. And, Laura, I've been saying for a couple months now, if North Korea actually ends its nuclear program and you bring peace to this peninsula after 70 years, Donald Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. The only reason that the evil North Korean dictator is coming to the table is because there's a new sheriff in town. And President Trump's Twitter diplomacy is working. His tough talk is making a difference. It's bringing both North and South Korea to the table, and China too. Of course, we have a long way to go here, but these events of the last 24 hours are extraordinary and almost impossible to overstate. It's a very big deal, and it is happening because of President Trump's leadership.
We're going to talk about the Chinese involvement in all of this because we cannot overlook the fact that we have major administration officials going to China on Tuesday, Bob Lighthizer, the USTR, and also, of course, we have Steve Mnuchin and other senior level members of the administration going to talk trade. But Mike Pillsbury, I want to go to you. I want to do a flashback. It's kind of Flashback Friday today, and play for our entire panel the scene from the Nobel Prize ceremony involving newbie Barack Obama. Let's watch.
Has the audacity to hope and the tenacity to make these hopes come true. That is what makes him so important. By his own behavior and leadership, he is demanding that we all take our share of responsibility for a global response to global challenges. We congratulate, therefore, this year's laureate, President Barack Obama, on what he has already achieved.
Mike Pillsbury, that was in 10 and a half months. He was getting people to accept responsibility for facing global challenges. Now, if that's the benchmark, Mike Pillsbury, then Donald Trump, regardless of what happens, has to be almost a shoo-in for the Nobel. I think the congressman's right here.
Well, I agree. Obviously, perhaps President Trump has earned 2 Nobel Peace Prizes. As you know, the authority of these peace prizes is somewhat in doubt. It's a committee of 5 who are chosen by the Norwegian Parliament, and they tend to be retired members of the Norwegian Parliament. So they've made some real mistakes over the years, people whose Nobel Peace Prize was not earned. In the case of President Trump, this is a tremendous success. The only problem is the degree of pressure he used to get it may turn the stomachs of some of the Norwegian members of Parliament. Don't forget he had nuclear aircraft flying toward North Korea. He had the discussion with the South Korean defense minister that we might return our nuclear weapons to be deployed again in South Korea, as many as 800 or more. Other kinds of pressure, obviously, was the massive, very focused sanctions, even on the royal family in the North. So this is not your ordinary idealistic make-a-speech kind of Nobel Peace Prize candidacy. This is something that really got results. But the results came only through pressure. I think the Chinese also helped. And frankly, President Trump linking trade and the delegation going next week to helping with North Korea. That was a very bold gesture, heavily criticized by the left-wing media. But it looks like it was a stroke of genius. The Chinese helped us on North Korea. Who would have thought, Laura?
No, I think that's a great point. Riley, I want to go to you on this. I frankly I'm a little bit worried on the linking of China trade to North Korea. Obviously, the choice between thermonuclear war or the China 2025 program, where they dominate every major industry. It's not the easiest of concerns to look at when you look at them both. We can't allow China to dominate high tech. We cannot allow China to dominate 3D printing, space weaponry, commercial aviation. But that is their subsidizing goal. They're doing that across every industry. And I'm worried that Donald Trump is so focused on the North Korea deal that will let up the pressure on China that also is necessary. But so far, he's had great judgment.
There's definitely a difference in opinion on what the sort of immediate threat from North Korea and the future threat from China sort of represent. Obviously, last night was a historic event. This is setting up toward the upcoming meetings between the leader of North Korea and Donald Trump. China's role in this going forward is skeptical, I think. I mean, the president of China, Xi Jinping, had the North Korean leader come visit him almost out of the blue in the middle of the night just a couple months ago to preempt the North Korean leader's visit with South Korea and the United States. And so I think definitely the maximum pressure that the United States has been applying has been both influencing and incentivizing North Koreans to come to the table and the Chinese to reciprocate.
Congressman, I want to play for you in the panel a few of our favorite friends on the other side of the aisle who refuse to give President Trump even a modicum of credit here. Let's watch.
people shouldn't talk about Donald Trump or anybody in North or South Korea winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
My message for President Trump tonight is curb your enthusiasm. Don't set up unrealistic expectations for the summit that cannot possibly be fulfilled, because if you do have these expectations and it fails, that may actually draw us closer to war.
This was to show that nobody else is in control and that China and the United States is not in control, that the two Koreas are seizing the process.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they just sua sponte.
Yeah, exactly.
Came together just like pixie dust, and they came together. That last comment, I mean, of all the dumb comments I've heard, that last comment was among the most moronic. Congressman.
Well, one, the president's being strong towards China. That's part of why we're even in this position in the first place.
Can't let up, though.
Second,
Congressman, he cannot let up on China. They are ripping us off at every turn. Mike Pillsbury knows this. And just because they've helped on North Korea doesn't mean we can let them off, because they are poised to dominate all these industries.
Absolutely, and we are where we are because this president shows strength. And you wait, he's going to show strength towards China. You already see them caving in. But here's the deal, right? The withering criticism of folks on the left. Could you imagine how they would be behaving if Barack Obama was president and you had events like last night? I'm running for the United States Senate against Joe Donnelly, a Democratic senator who, like all those others on the left, have criticized this president's diplomacy. Look, Twitter diplomacy is working. North Korea has come to the table in a way that most of us would have never imagined just a few months ago. You cannot overstate how big a deal last night was. Of course, there's a long way to go, but we are here because America is safest when America is strong. And with this president, President Trump, we are strong again on the world stage. And to have events like what have happened in the last 24 hours is just another big step in the right direction. And I agree with you, Laura. Listen, we've got to be strong towards China. This president is stepping forward and getting tough on China in a way that hasn't happened in decades. And I'm just confident he's going to continue to do it. Look,
he's had great instincts.
This guy wrote The Art of the Deal. He's a remarkable leader.
Well, as our president welcomes his French counterpart, let's not forget how the media portrays Trump's harmful foreign policy.
Republicans really have a responsibility to talk about the imminent threat that they know because they've seen behind the scenes that this man poses to the safety and the security of the United States of America.
I've asked Twitter spokesman, does this violate Twitter's terms of service, making this kind of threat toward North Korea?
On the world stage, this president is humiliating America. No question.
Well, that didn't age well. So does the president of France agree with them?
We have a lot of work to be done together, but I'm very, very honored and very pleased because whatever the context could be, this relationship is stronger than the events. And on top of it, we have an excellent personal relationship, so I want to thank you for that.
Our poor media. The sophisticated European adores our president. And why shouldn't he? He is adorable.
It's a great honor to be here. But we do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of dandruff off. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect.
Oh, my God. Some would break out the therapy llamas because every single narrative the media uses to slime Trump seems to flunk the reality test. It's the difference between Trump and Obama. Obama was beloved by our media, but our global adversaries saw him as a mark. Trump is despised by the media, but effective on the world stage. Let's review that world stage, shall we? Well, ISIS is more than handled for now. North Korea, bold moves by Trump may create an historic thaw. Syria, he drew red lines and then he enforced them. He made that historic visit to the homes of each major religion. He embraced the new Saudi leader, a key ally. He recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And behind it all, he's rebuilding our military, telling the world that his priorities are that. And it ain't the vanishing polar bears. In short, Obama was the substitute teacher you could spin in 6 different directions. Trump is the scary
Why would you take my helicopter? You took my helicopter.
If Iran threatens us in any way, they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid.
Wow. There's a pattern here. When Trump enters the equation, an actual reset takes place, a reset that creates chaos, but it's chaos by design. As any negotiator knows, you can't play an adversary that you can't figure out. Trump's greatest asset, unpredictability, and he knows it. It's only our media who hasn't figured that out yet. They're still stuck on Trump's spelling errors. So, Pete, on a scale of 1 to nothing, to 10, everything, is Donald Trump the greatest president that has ever lived?
Can I buy an 11?
Yes.
That was a layup. I gotta tell you something.
I mean, you nailed it. I will give you your kudos. Thank you. As I know you appreciate.
I enjoy a good kudo.
The unpredictability is the key. When you're strong and you have confidence, and you believe in American power, then people, your adversaries fear you, and your allies respect you. And in some ways, what President Trump has done is a layup in foreign policy. He decided to stand by our traditional allies and stand up to the enemies of the free world.
Yeah.
Whether it's China trade, whether it's North Korea, whether it's dictators, whether it's Iran, I think he'll scrap the Iran deal in spite of Emmanuel Macron's attempts to do otherwise. We haven't needed the French since, I think, 1775, but it's nice to have him.
It was good to have him then. That's for sure. Yes, exactly.
You know, Juan,
They've been resting.
Juan, you were saying the green room to me earlier. I have to admit, Donald Trump is the greatest president that ever lived.
I overheard it. Yeah.
He bought an 11. I'm looking for a 12. Maybe it's a baker's dozen. Because I think 13 is the bad luck here.
Gosh,
That's pretty good, I have to say.
I am struck by what you're saying, because when I think about foreign policy, and I think to myself, wait a second, this is the guy you say enforced the red line. Of course, he was saying we should get out of Syria. And then you had Republicans saying, oh no, you better stay because you don't want to start any trouble. You need a force there. And then he supposedly enforced the red line, and of course then you have people saying, well, this was pretty ineffectual. He didn't do much here, so what is exactly the strategy? We don't have a strategy. And then I think to myself, well, let me listen to Greg. Greg is saying this guy is a great foreign policy leader. So I think to myself, well, that must mean that Macron has come across the ocean and he's saying, oh, Mr. President, thank you. But in fact, he's saying, you're wrong on the Iran deal. He's saying you're wrong on trade. He's saying you're wrong on Syria. And then Angela Merkel is coming at the end of the week, and she's going to, is she going to pat President Trump? No, she's going to enforce what Macron has said to Trump about disagreements.
But the thing that's interesting about President Trump when he has these meetings, whether it's with adversaries or whether it's with allies, is he always focuses on the agreement first. And as you've seen him come through the first year of his presidency, he's emboldened the allies. He's kind of distanced himself from the people who aren't necessarily in our interest. Turkey is one of those examples. When it comes to Syria, he addressed that today. He talked about the Iran deal. He talked about the Syria strategy being, look, we want to get out eventually, but we have to have a plan because we don't want the Mediterranean, as he said, to be a free-for-all for the Iranians that we're controlling that territory now. When it comes to the Iran deal, I also believe, based on the president's rhetoric in the past few months and also today, he said it was built on decaying foundation and has continued to decay, that the language is telling us he's going to scrap it. But the agreement is not necessarily, or the disagreement isn't necessarily the Iran deal is bad. There's agreement on that. There's just disagreement about how to fix it. What's plan B? And whether you can fix it.
Yeah, so they're going to tag team him a little bit, European style, right? So you had somebody that he has a very good relationship with, interpersonally, has a lot of charm and warmth, and they seem to get along besides the gender comment, well with one another. Until there's somebody...
Trust somebody when you do that. When you pick dandruff up, they're tired.
They're not going to lie to groom each other and pick but they usually eat the butt.
Yeah, but the problem is he's calling out the guy for having dandruff.
Well, that's like a little bit, yeah, but you know, anyway.
Hands who he has.
The French like that. The French like that. They have a glass of wine later and they forget all about it. So what's going to happen is now Merkel has a much more contentious relationship. She's been quite critical of the president, but she's going to have to roll that back a little bit in terms of trying to get some diplomacy, because there are things that the two of them want. They want to be able to have him reconsider the Iran nuclear agreement, and he wants them to get involved and go along with what he wants to do as it relates to Syria and Iran in terms of that, geopolitical area that is strife with problems in the Middle East. So in terms of that, he's already got in his head some kind of negotiating chip of they're going to have to play ball, they're going to have to be respectful. she's going to have to stop with her, incessant criticism. Because guess what? She's no longer the Iron Lady of Europe that she was.
No.
She has been tremendously weakened politically across Europe with the problems that she's had there and in terms of the elections, etc. So see what happens at the end of the week.
And I would argue, too, that the president is actually taking a little bit of pressure off of the Europeans by calling on the Arab nations around Iran who are very concerned about them restarting their nuclear program, which they threatened to do. He has said, this is your responsibility in your region, which allows the Europeans to take a step back and go, okay, this is in our interest to be involved here, but the people who really need to make sure the rules are being followed are the people in the neighborhood, and that is the Arab nations.
He's also reasserted the real power relationship between us and the European nations. I mean, Barack Obama was deferential to these countries that we have no business.
We were inferior.
Yeah, we were equal to them. We were not, we were all...
Yeah. Seeing if you want to come by today.
Sure. I gotta do a few things, but quite a few jobs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, well, come over whenever you get a chance. So I'll be here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll just take a shower and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and Mom said something about having some wood. I don't know if it's loaded up or not, but not a huge deal. We still got lots, so, but we're not lost. Okay. All right. I'll be there. Okay. Okay. So good luck. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're welcome. Bye. Sweet. What is that? Ooh, I see something. Hello. Nah. already got it. Oh, maybe not. Alright. Nice. Turkey poacher. Can't believe they're in this game. Wow. Sweet. I don't know how I missed that before. Yeah. This is silly. This silly. Oh, that one? Oh, thank you. What do you do with all your crayons, Jesse? Yeah, pretty. Pretty.
Kanye West embraces Donald Trump. Chance the Rapper tells black Americans to escape the Democratic Party. And Kim Kardashian speaks up for free thought. Whoever wrote 2018 is amazing! This is the Ben Shapiro Show. Okay, it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, folks, the guest appearances, the special episodes, the moving moments. Could you have asked for more when you elected this reality TV show? Could you? I could not have. It is just unbelievable. We're going to get to all of the Kanye-related mania that has been happening around the world and what it means and why it's glorious. If I seem a little giddy this morning, that's because the world broke last night. I mean, obviously, we're now living in a parallel universe in which dogs live with cats and giant marshmallow men run through New York City. Something has happened. Something magical has happened. We'll discuss all of it in just a second. First, I want to say thanks to our sponsors over at Movement. So, spring is right around the corner, and Movement is dropping all new sunglasses to get you ready for warmer weather. Okay, we, at our house, we have Movement sunglasses. I have Movement sunglasses. I wear them. My wife has Movement sunglasses. They are really top-notch. The problem normally with sunglaslasses is you either get a cheap pair that looks absolutely terrible, or you get $200 pair and then you break it, or you lose it. Okay, so this is why you need the sunglasses from Movement. Okay, yeah, they're the watch guys, but they figured that you needed sunglasses too. So they decided to make quality, trendy sunglasses at a fair price. They're not plastic, they are acetate, and you can get them polarized. They start at just $70. These are my go-to shades, and they really are amazing. I didn't even like wearing sunglasses generally, but these things make me look cool. I know it's a difficult task, but somehow Movement makes it happen. These are high-quality, premium acetate frames, no cheap plastic. Again, you have to see them. Get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/Shapiro. That's mvmt.com/Shapiro. Again, these are the folks who make the best watches on planet Earth. I love their watches, right? I've got one on right now, as I always do. And now I wear their sunglasses as well. There's a reason for that. mvmt.com/Shapiro. mvmt.com/Shapiro. You get 15% off today. Go get some of their sunglasses. They're really great. mvmt.com/Shapiro and join the movement. All right, so what's going on? I don't know. You tell me. It's crazy. So, Kanye West. You remember him from such things as being crazy for 20 years. Well, back in 2005, you'll recall, during Hurricane Katrina, Kanye West decided to go on television and say that George W. Bush was a vicious racist who was drowning black people for no reason. And this is what it looked like. Here's just a brief flashback of Kanye West, young Kanye, who looks exactly the same today actually as he did then, and Mike Myers, who absolutely does not look the same today as he did then. And they're talking about hurricane relief for NBC, and Kanye just launches into this thing about how George W. Bush hates black people. It turns out Kanye West is the only black man in America who thinks George W. Bush is a racist, but Donald Trump isn't. So that's pretty incredible. Here is Kanye West talking in 2005. Remember, this is the guy we're talking about.
The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may not be the most tragic loss of all. George Bush doesn't care about black people. Please call.
Kidding me? Right through it?
I'm not going to look at her up, but what just happened? What just happened? Now, the reason that I
What the
show
hell?
this is to remember that the entire left thought this was great. The entire left thought that Kanye West was a hero. Kanye West was another one of their cultural heroes, which showed a couple of things. One, look, Kanye was always a weird dude. And Kanye was always a nut job. And Kanye back in 2005, being a nut job, the left embraced his nut jobbery because obviously his nut jobbery cut in their favor. Second of all, there is this monolithic culture on the left that feels that all celebrities must be on the left. If you are not on the left and you're a celebrity, you get raked through the coals. We talked about this earlier with regard to Shania Twain, who is a Canadian country singer who was forced to recant when she said that she might have voted for Donald Trump. She can't even vote. She's Canadian. She was forced to recant all of that. Well, now Kanye West has decided that it's time to break the thought monopoly. So there's two things here. One is a serious topic and one is a not so serious topic. The not so serious topic is the sheer hilarity of Kanye West becoming friends with Donald Trump and the left panicking. So the left is absolutely panicking. They're panicking because, again, they have this monolithic hold
What is
on the
this?
culture. Out here in Los Angeles, there's something called Front Today. Okay, it's these...
Not again. Oh my god. Why again? Oh man. Right. Okay, give me a second. I don't want to freaking get stuck in this damn shit. Man.
Is brilliant.
Straight flush. There's no way you got a royal flush. What the hell? No, don't do it! Oh my god. No way. Here again. Fuck. Don't make me kill all those people again. Get up. Oh. Okay, what's going on here? Unavailable. I knew it. Shoot. Damn, I don't even have full rockets. Damn. This is gonna be way too hard. Locked. Damn. And I'm freaking scared shitless. And I'm freaking dumping my drawers. Oh my god. Where is he? Help! Huh? Why do I have a freaking... Son of a... Come on, come to me then. Might as well wait for you guys to come to me, or otherwise I'm gonna freaking have a heart attack. Okay. I'm scared. What would Jack do? Ah! He definitely wouldn't scream in terror. Oh! The hell? Why do I punch when I have a bat? Oh, I got a manly switch to it. That's why. Should have brass knuckles or something. Punch Jack out for once. Oh, I don't want to make one more. Sucks. Oh, there's some more buzzsaw. I can make 2 more now. Oh, somebody's mad. Where are they? Oh, there he is. Oh, I see you. You fucking bastard. Yeah. Sweet. Forgot about him. Where is he? He's freaking... There he is. Right in the face! With a 50 cal. I just won this gun for beating Jacob, eh? I'm sure you have it. Oh, I can switch piercing or 50. Huh. Cool. Gotta remember that if I run out of ammo. I know I'm weird how I just go around making sure I kill everything and go in. Otherwise, if I run in like I did at the beginning, I'll just die. Now I gotta figure out how the hell to get in here. Doors are locked. Maybe they're not all locked. Actually, I should probably check. Oh, there's some way there, maybe. Oh, there, I gotta go over there. Yeah. Okay. Beer bottles everywhere. That reminds me, I'm just gonna grab one quick. Yeah, Jack, look at this. Laker Ice. 5.5%. It's like $1 a beer. It gets, actually no, it's like $33 Canadian for 24 of them. And they give you a free tall boy in the case with it. And I drink it at room temperature. None of my friends do though. They always want it cold all the time. I don't know why, but I like it at room temperature. An update? Oh, I bet you if I get out of my game and go back in, it'll update it too. Oh, that was fast. If that's you. I'm sure you've done this before. I'm not sure where to go here. Oh, I gotta do the same thing. Oh, here we go. Yes. I swear I shot a guy up here. I want to check something for a second. Rest mode. Oh. Is that you watching, buddy? I don't get it. Yeah, I'm still broadcasting. Yeah, baby. You hungry? You hungry? No banana? The my controller. Dang it.